What's up, media junkies?
Very casual today.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just like spring it on me like that. I'm the guy who starts the episode, so I gotta tell you when it starts the episode.
Gotcha.
So I wasn't ready. You just go.
Gotcha.
It's okay.
What's up? We are gonna be doing something really cool today. But before we get into that,
That was close.
we have some small talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
I probably have the most meaningless small talk of that thing.
Okay. First, then.
May 1st. So I've been kind of talking about it here and there, but I really want to articulate, mostly to the audience, but I mean you guys too, why I think that this second Ace Attorney Miles Edgeworth game is the best game in the franchise.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Where the other Ace Attorney games, obviously they're amazing, like they're all really good, but this
Spoiler-free explanation, of course.
one, spoiler free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, he's gonna tell you everything that happens in the game.
This game, to me, has the most continuity. So you know how like in the I don't know if you remember, but like in the first game, the cases are kind of their own little standalone thing.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
In this game, there are lingering mysteries that are like left throughout all the cases. And on top of that is actually like this character thing. The entire time, Edgeworth meets an old friend called Eddie Fender.
Okay.
And that's actually him and Edgeworth on my screensaver
Does he get
right
a
now.
fender bender?
No, Eddie Fender, like a defender. He's a defense attorney.
That's cool.
and-
he kind
and,
of
like-
looks like Aaron, or not Aaron. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah, he kind of does. And like throughout these cases they're doing together, Eddie kind of shows him the way, what it means to be a defense attorney, and so he's defending people. As the cases go on and stuff, so he's trying, because Edgeworth is a prosecutor, obviously. So the game is kind of him battling between if he wants to be a defense attorney or a prosecutor. And there are like things that happen. There's like decisions he makes along the way, and you get invested in his character and all these other things that are going on. So there's the interlinked mystery. There's that. Here's a minor spoiler, which I think that you probably know if you're into the franchise at least a little bit. The third case of the second game is half you play as Miles Edgeworth and half you play as Gregory Edgeworth in a flashback. Gregory Edgeworth was his father, if you recall.
With kilometers, Edgeworth.
Yeah, kilometers Edgeworth. So that was really cool. And like his father's legacy, and like, because remember he wanted to be a defense attorney, but then when his father died, he changed the path of prosecution. And
Right.
so it is like the most like a narrative that the series has had. And it's really good.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend. The first Investigations game was really the most like mid game. So I don't. And also my recommendation would be, and I've been thinking about this too, is that with this series, the best place to start is obviously the original trilogy, and after you finish that, you think to go on to the fourth game would be the next choice, but I don't think that's a good idea, because that second trilogy is basically like this game's like prequel trilogy is the Star Wars.
Right.
Like it's really a different kind of game, and it's not as engaging in my opinion. So I'd say that if you finish the first trilogy, so like for you, if you ever do end up finishing the first trilogy, the next game you should play should be the Investigations games, the Miles Edgeworth games.
Gotcha.
They're the most similar tonally and writing wise, and I think that they are brilliant. So that's another recent rec. I think that anyone who is into visual novels should get into the series and definitely play the Investigations game at some point.
Absolutely, including myself.
Yeah,
including myself.
look at
Yeah.
you.
We'll get there.
Austin needs to
We're
finish
slowly
it.
but surely planning a hangout.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get there.
I'm gonna force it down his throat. Wait, you know what we could do?
Oh, what could we
Instead
do?
of playing I don't know, it is like a 10-hour case, so maybe not. But maybe the DLC case that you never finished from the first game. I don't know if you
That's
remember.
another
True.
sleepover hangout.
No.
I mean, to be fair, the 10 hours isn't that long compared to Lord of the Rings and
Harry Potter.
I guess that is true.
Harry Potter.
That's
but,
like one
but
day
it's
of
also
watching
not
Harry
as
Potter.
consistently engaging. It has a little bit of padding.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Harry Potter is the same thing.
I'd say the best course of action would be for us to play like the first 2 or 3 cases of the second game, even though the fourth case in the second game is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah.
I'm gonna update my my status on where I'm at with the Harry Potter books.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering,
I'm on the third book.
Incredible.
Prisoner of Azkaban. Second book was really good. I really liked it.
Who's raving about it?
I like it way more than the first book. Okay, and lots of people deem the second one as, you know, the worst in the series.
Yeah, which always struck me as odd.
It's odd, but I can understand where they're coming from, because I feel like the first book has the least amount of like stakes, and like it's not super important compared to like what happens in the future. But I just really I like the mystery more. I just thought
I agree.
it felt less rushed.
Whenever I think of like a Harry Potter mystery, Chamber of Secrets is always the first one that comes to my head.
Yeah, it's
Like-
just like it's fun. It's not
Yeah.
high stakes. It's like it all wraps up
not high
neatly.
It's
in
got
the
a good
end.
twist at the end.
It's got a great twist. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm excited. I'm only one chapter into the third book, but I'm
And the third book, I
excited.
remember my mom it's in her top 10 books of all time, and so was the seventh.
Interesting.
So that's some high praise right
Interesting.
there.
Oh, yeah.
I pretty much everyone says Half-Blood Prince is the wait, which one's
Deathly Hallows is the last one.
Deathly Hallows is the last one. A lot of people say Half-Blood Prince is like the best book in the series.
The sixth one?
Yeah, the sixth one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny because I was watching West Critical the other day, and I don't know if he was because it's hard to tell with him if he's being sincere or not. But he was like, yeah, Deathly Hallows Part 2 sucked. Obviously, I don't see a terrible movie. They killed off all the characters, and
There's no way he's being serious.
and I was like, what?
There's no way
he's
he's
probably
being
being serious. He has some terrible
He does have some
takes.
hot takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he has some hot takes, but they're all very like I can see where he's coming from. Even though like I don't agree with it, it's like but he has
Yeah.
a good argument for it. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I had that power.
Yeah.
I wish whenever I had a controversial opinion, it wasn't like
I wish
It didn't sound so
I wish
weird.
you and I had a controversial opinion. Everyone agreed with me too.
because it's all based on like emotion for me. So it's like I liked this thing more than the others because it made me feel
Yeah.
better. But like that's not like that doesn't hold up in court. It's not evidence, you know.
Yeah. And then I have a new recent rec as of last night. I watched Megamind for the first time. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, it was
Told
pretty good,
you.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, it's very nostalgic for me. I watched it a lot when I was little.
Yeah, I didn't. So I've obviously never watched it before somehow. So
Markiplier.
I didn't grow up with that. I don't have any nostalgic basis with it. But even that being said,
Magnifique.
it was really good. I liked the dialogue was always really good.
Yeah.
It
got
was
a lot
just
of-
really well written.
It's got a lot of like
Now
subtlety.
you have to watch the other one.
No, you don't.
Kidding,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch them. I'm trying to think of. There was one joke that had me laughing so hard. Oh, I'm trying to think.
Was it
of
the
what
Queen
was.
of England?
No, because
There
I've
is
seen
no
that one a
two-
million
Oh
times
yeah,
before.
obviously. That's so funny.
I've seen lots of clips from the movie just because
Although
it's
yeah,
famous.
so old,
Megamind is a very funny character. I mean, there's so many quotes that are just running through my mind right
Oh,
now.
hold on. I
There
really
is
got to
no
think of
tooth
this joke.
fairy,
It's on
there is
the
no
tip
I really
of
like
my
Will
tongue.
Ferrell.
There is no Queen of England.
There was one joke where like him and I already forget her name, the girl, the love interest of the movie.
Yeah.
They were walking into Metro Man's like mansion or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, I think an apology might be in order, and he was like, that would be great, hon, but let's try and speed it up.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's just like things like that.
The dialogue is really like it's witty.
Yeah,
and
it's just really good.
Because that's what they had. That's like what they really had back then.
Yeah.
They had good animation and they had witty.
yeah. I always liked the oddly like interesting perspective on like superhero stories and like I always thought it was weird. I was like this kids movie is like really yeah, like it reveals a lot of like issues and like it's really
Yeah.
interesting. It's really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
I think
Very
DreamWorks
likable characters.
is like one of the few like companies that have actually been like on a steady like
They've been consistently
they've been
good.
consistently good, except for like obviously like how they kept continuing the Shrek series. That's most companies though.
Yeah, and I
where they
feel like-
have like one franchise that they continue on, like Disney where they have like 50. Where
Yeah.
they're like, let's make another one of this. Moana 2.
Yeah.
Toy Story like 15.
Disney Pixar is definitely like they fluctuate a lot more. I think
I'm gonna be,
DreamWorks
like,
is pretty
50
more
years
steady.
old.
Like
I'm gonna be 50 years old and they're gonna have a Toy Story like 10.
Yeah,
or,
I
like,
know.
20.
I wonder if I'll ever get.
guarantee you.
I guess it's like Fast and Furious, but like I was thinking more like a kids movie. Like, think we're ever going to see like a 10th
like-
kids movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably. They'd probably just like reboot it eventually and just start back over,
That's true.
in the
But
digits.
I have a feeling-
And it'll have like really weird 2D animation that's like
Yeah.
choppy,
Yeah.
or maybe AI or something.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they might be able to do good with a new Shrek movie though, especially since they have it coming off of The Last Wish, Puss in Boots.
Oh, that is true.
That movie was
That-
so
it
good.
was so amazing.
That's one of my. That's
I watched it. I was watching it on the plane. It was-
that's up there with like Spider-Verse for like
Animation,
best-
animated movies.
best animation, best comedy. That movie was
Pick
so
it up.
funny.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
I
man, that
just-
movie was
I
brilliant.
loved the cricket. What was it? No, I can't remember
Jiminy
the line.
Cricket?
No, yeah, but like there was the one line.
when he's on his shoulder.
Yeah, when he's on the shoulder.
He was
can't
like,
remember now.
are you thinking about when he was like,
You're a monster. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was, I forget what he said after that. He
This
was
is the
like,
second time we've been like, wait, what was that line?
Yeah.
Really
and then
entertaining.
he flicks him off his shoulder.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I think he was like, "What took you so
Oh,
long?"
yeah, that's what it
Something
was.
like that.
You just
But yeah,
figured that
that
out.
was a good movie. And then my last bit of small talk is tomorrow I'm back at school, so
El
that'll be
Ratio.
exciting.
We should have. Why
Um,
didn't we do the hangout? I'm
yeah.
such an idiot.
Yeah, we should have. Back at school tomorrow, and yeah, I'll keep you updated.
Oh, I meant to tell you. I went to saw that we parked right next to the bash car and didn't see you, and I was very disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, I was like the bash car, and then we never saw you.
Interesting. Well, now I'm gonna have to bleep that out
Oops.
because I'm not
just
supposed to
realized.
tell people.
I just
where
realized.
work.
Here, write the timestamp down on your phone.
Oh, it was okay. 10:20. All right.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
No, that's all the small talk I have. So.
Okay.
well, I've just recently beat
Whoa.
Tears of the Kingdom.
You just got you enunciated all those
Yeah,
words.
I just really beat up Luke all the time.
When that-
Every single day I beat him up. No, I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh.
I beat Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know what everyone was talking about Ganon being super tough. I thought he was pretty easy.
Oh,
People were
Macho Man Hunter over here.
well. I was looking up stuff. I'm like, oh, what should I bring to the fight? So I mean, I brought some of the stuff that I should bring to the fight. They're like, oh, you need more than 4 shields. I have 4 shields. I didn't even use one. I
It's,
didn't go through a single shield.
That fight is really. I feel like that fight should have been.
Harder.
No, it's so like. This like him doing the flurry rush on you, and like that's all really cool.
He never really, but he never really does the flurry rush. He
Yeah, but he-
dodges backwards. Which
He like uses Link's moves, and which
the
is like
thing that doesn't make
I-
any sense is that that's Link's ability is that he can flurry rush.
I mean,
That was like the whole thing of the first game is that he can flurry rush, but that was like his champion's ability. Now like the Rivali's Gale.
well,
Mifa's
Ganondorf
Grace,
is a big smart man.
which is, I say I'm kidding. But no, I thought it was kind of annoying at some points when he like did the flurry rush. But I it's cool now that I'm done with the fight. I think it was really cool that it was able to flurry rush. But in fight, obviously, it's annoying because
Yeah.
you're like, oh yes, I got a perfect dodge, and it's just like,
And then
nope, and he
I-
rolls back. I'm like, this is not. Cool.
I really liked. I don't know if you've seen this fight. I don't know if you know what we're talking about at
No
all.
idea.
No. That fight was always funny to me because it was like I always loved like fourth wall breaks. So like the health bar thing. The second
I thought it was
phase-
gonna go off the screen.
Yeah, I know. In the second phase, like his health bar starts going, and it just keeps going and going and going. And I just think it's like I get what it's trying to be like a cool fourth wall break, and I love that kind of stuff. But it is so goofy. It's like,
Yeah.
When I
And-
saw it, I'm like, oh no, his health's gonna go off.
and what I
the
think is funny
screen.
too is that it doesn't matter because like the health bars are like gauged. Like so when bosses have more health, it goes down slower. So him having a big long health bar doesn't matter. It's still his same like health he would have had anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
Yeah,
funny though.
yeah.
And then he crams his whole hand in his mouth, and I think that's funny.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
He takes a little crystal from the top of his. Oh wait, spoilers.
It's kind of goofy, but
Yeah.
it's cool.
But yeah,
Did you get all the memories, like all the dragon's tears?
No, I
Because
didn't.
you learn things about. I mean, I don't know if you spoiled it already for yourself. But it's been out for a few years now. But there's a kind of a little mini twist about some of the stuff that happens in the
I'll
game.
probably redo. I'll probably grab all the memories at some
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah,
don't tell me that.
that's a pretty cool game.
But yeah, I think it was really good. After beating the game, honestly, I think it might be higher on my list than Breath of the Wild.
I think that is a fundamentally better game than Breath of
Yes.
the Wild. Everything it has
but
is
I
like.
still love Breath of
Breath
the
of the
Wild
Wild is like,
so
but
much.
it's nostalgic for me. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm probably will say that even though I'm doing the exact thing that I hate and people do with like,
Exactly,
Ocarina and
yeah.
stuff, but whatever.
Speaking of which, I had really bad news to tell Luke this morning. On Metacritic ratings, Tears of the Kingdom has a 96%. Guess how many people rated it though? 150 people. 145 positive, 5 mixed. Guess how many people rated Ocarina of Time? 22 positive, and 99. Of course it's going to be
got a
higher. Less
99.
people.
It's the highest Metacritic score of all time.
It is.
Yes,
Really.
It infuriates me so
I
much.
think there's this weird thing that people don't understand
subjectivity.
too.
Does objectivity not exist anymore in like video game world? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
I mean, I've been playing Ocarina of Time. It's a good game, but I don't think it's better than Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild.
I mean, like when it comes to like teaching the player, it does a good job. It does a good job of like building the world. Like it hits all the right points. But
Yeah.
other games have just done it better.
And the thing is, the thing is that I think Ocarina of Time shouldn't even be that high anyways, because again, 22 people voted it. Of course it's going to be a high percent because there's only 22 people to review it.
Yeah, that is true.
So there's not really
maybe
much.
maybe I should review it. And
There shouldn't be. There isn't much. Well, it's by actual critics or whatever.
I'll just hack
But
into
it's
their
like-
system.
Of course, it's going to be higher again because less people. So there's less people that are voting it lower. So of course
And
it's
those
going to be
people-
higher.
It's
So if
so hard-
anything,
it's so
Tears
hard-
of the Kingdom is better because it has more votes that are positive and less,
That is
and
true,
some votes that
actually.
are negative. Not even negative; they're just mixed.
Sounds like a very contrived system.
I think it's
I think
really.
so too.
I think
Well,
it's really stupid.
Metacritic was
and
never my
unfair.
favorite because Metacritic was very much like that. Like I always prefer because I mean IGN definitely has some weird takes I don't understand, but their system they have for scoring is good I think. But yeah, it's like at this point I feel like the universe is just kind of like trolling me a little bit. Like no one actually thinks it's that good.
There's
I feel
no
like,
way.
I feel like everyone's just joking with me, like trying to make me like upset.
I
for
also
no
saw a
reason.
YouTuber like playing all the games and stuff like that, and then he ranked them all, and then so he said that Link's Awakening was C tier or whatever.
Oh, I love that's one of my favorite ones.
And
I
everyone's
love
like,
Link's Awakening.
You only played like 30 minutes of the game. I'm pretty sure you played them all the way through, and he's just saying that
Link's Awakening is probably my favorite 2D Zelda game.
Yeah, I just don't think people understand that there's a such thing as an opinion.
I know.
I think the best like review rating system, it's not for video games, but it's like movies and shows, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
yeah.
I always like Rotten
they're
Tomatoes.
the most consistent. Like there have
Yeah.
been a handful of times where I see something and I either think it deserves like a way less rating or a way higher rating, but most of the time it's always like true.
Yeah.
Like even the
Yeah.
or the critics score, and I just feel like I don't know. It's just review systems just suck
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
and
Like people are just so hungry to have their opinions validated. So like,
Yeah.
I think we don't need a review system for
It's-
games and movies and
it's like
stuff.
Yeah.
I try not to be the person that's like, you know, lets critic scores judge if they, you know, consume something or not. But a lot of the time before I'll go like see a movie, because movies are expensive these days.
Yeah,
I'll
that's true.
pretty much always go to Rotten Tomatoes and see what the score is because I trust it because it's actually really consistent and just very good.
Yeah,
And-
Rotten
and-
Tomatoes has had some.
I think too something is that people also often forget. I said Austin. Often
Yeah, what's up,
forget
Austin?
That, like it's all up to like media is up to you. Like it's your
Yeah.
preference. You know what I
Right.
mean? Don't go off of what like the big like everyone's saying. Like
Right.
if it's something that interests you, then go see it and
Yeah.
enjoy it, or go play it and enjoy it. You know?
Yeah.
my last little tidbit here.
Maybe
talk
it gets
about-
like philosophical.
Yeah,
small talk.
my last little tidbit for Rotten Tomatoes is that most of the time, yeah, obviously, like they're very consistent, but there's few times where they're not. Is like I feel like it's mostly like kids movies and stuff,
Yeah.
or like movies they think are made for kids, so they like or like, oh, I'm not gonna review this as well. It's like,
Well, yeah, critics generally, when it comes to like comedy or like kids movies, tend to be more biased.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like,
And that's part of the issue, right? It's all about like target audience. You know,
Right,
if it
yeah.
appeals to you, then you're gonna like it more than someone who doesn't appeal to.
I feel
most
like
of the reviews.
kids movies shouldn't really be, have critics, especially when they're
Yeah.
adults.
Or what they could do. I always thought this is that, like for the kids movies, they could do like a different system, like maybe not Rotten Tomatoes, maybe something that's more like. I don't know, like I'm thinking of like the kids menu at a restaurant, like something like that. Maybe
Grape-
if it's even like kids, maybe even
Grape
review it or
Rotten
something.
Tomatoes, grape Rotten Tomatoes, because like the baby
Rotten
tomatoes.
grapes. Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually a perfect segue into I lied. One more piece of small talk
Okay.
Aye, aye,
that I
aye.
have. I completely forgot about this, but I believe it was last episode, Luke. You mentioned Letterboxd.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I started.
I knew
it.
you'd enjoy that,
I-
dude.
I made one. It is awesome.
Isn't it just?
I have 286 films in there so far.
Now I want to start.
Um,
So, have you written any reviews yet? Because those are all public. You can.
I haven't written any, but every film that I mark as watched, I rate what I
Yeah.
think like out of 5 stars. You can do like half stars. It's great. I love
Yeah,
it.
as soon as that person told me about it, I was like, you know what? I think this is cool. I might use it like once in every blue moon,
Yeah.
but I know someone who absolutely would use it.
It's very addicting for me.
Yeah, because
And-
you like movies more than I do. Like
Right.
you enjoy that culture.
One thing I will mention, a gripe I have about it, is that there aren't shows. There are the only shows that are on here are certain miniseries, like Squid Game's on there because they have like. I guess it's because they have like very little, like a few episodes,
Okay.
so it equates to kind of what a film would be. So, but they,
That'll be a cool little update to do though.
yeah, they did announce that
Oh.
they are working on adding
How recent
shows.
is it? Because I feel like it can't be that recent then, right?
What, the announcement?
Or I mean, no, the app itself, like Letterboxd.
It's been a while, around for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard of it for a while.
I feel like they should have done shows sooner.
Yeah.
Shows sooner.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
That's cool though.
yeah,
I'm
it
glad
is cool.
you're getting stuff out of that.
Oh, and I did do the. I gotta update the audience on this. My Harry Potter house is Ravenclaw.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
took
yeah.
the online test, and that totally means something. So
Very important. Too.
yeah, Ravenclaw is what the Sorting Hat gave me. So yeah.
Well, I guess
Very cool.
we
Good
should
small
get
talk,
into
guys.
our episode now.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Weird.
what is our episode today?
Weird Wars. Not to be
Weird
confused
Wars.
with the horror game Weird Wars.
That Hunter just discovered a few
Yeah.
hours ago.
Yeah.
No, every single time I've looked up Weird Wars, it
Yeah.
always does that, so I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to war.
Mm-hmm. We're going to war. We need
We're
to be
all
prepared.
going to war, and we have to study these different weird, wacky wars
Yeah.
that
These
have
are the
existed in our time period.
Mm-hmm.
In our time period? What do you mean?
Humans.
Oh.
Not our.
We are humans.
Yeah.
Our
Um,
human time period, because...
And this all stemmed from probably the one we should do first.
Yeah.
From like a conversation that I had with Hunter before we even talked to you that much. Like
pre Austin.
yeah, it was pre the Austin era.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it that like funny at the time. I was like, oh, just some Hunter bit that like is
Yeah.
yeah. But as it's gone on, I've been like, that's weird. You know, I want to
Yeah.
know more about this. So
Yeah.
explain. So we each chose wars, and Hunter go
Yeah.
first.
So my first war is named the Great Emu War. If you guys can guess why.
I already know a bit about this war. It's but I kind of forgot, so not really actually.
lied.
Anyways,
I remember.
But-
I do not remember.
but I'm pretty sure it was Australia that I forget exactly what happened, but they were having like some territorial beef with like the emus. I think there was just like a ton of emu running rampant, and they just like attacked. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
they just did.
And I remember hearing about like the general emu had them all march single file towards
yeah,
Yeah.
they were all hut 2, 3,
Yeah.
playing
four,
their
hut, 2, 3, 4.
their emu fight song. It
Yeah.
goes something like
Yeah. This is our fight song.
the emu land.
Yeah.
So are we close?
Yeah, you're actually really close,
Oh.
except for you.
Oh, okay.
They didn't
Yeah.
have the hut 2, 3, 4 emus. But yeah,
Hit him with the hut
the
2, 3,
reason
4.
for the war was to reduce the local emu population because they were trampling farmers, like farms and stuff.
On purpose? Probably.
Yes, on
It was all
purpose.
played by a big emu.
Well, I
Yeah.
think they were just existing in life and just destroying their farms. And so they sent multiple letters to their government to send the military down to fight the emus.
I thought you were talking about the emus. I was like,
Yes. Mind you, this war lasted from November 2nd, 1932 to December 10th, 1932.
Those
so that's
emus do not
like
let up.
about a month.
Never back down, never won.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was a time to be alive.
Yeah. Something I've noticed.
It was not a time to be alive because you know what was happening during that time?
The war.
Hitler was chancellor at that time. So.
Oh.
But
He
the
was,
emus
so
were the
he
real
was behind
problem.
this. Yeah.
So we had
They were focusing on the important
I
issues.
think it's crazy to think about, right? Like Austria and Germany, well, mostly just Germany because Austria was where Hitler was born. Anyways, Germany had Hitler being chancellor. Well,
Yeah.
she wasn't. I don't think he was really doing much at the time, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that
Uh-huh.
because I don't know exactly what he was doing because I obviously wasn't born
Dang,
then.
I was really looking forward to quoting you on that.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Oh,
And then we have Australia, who has emus.
I wonder
Yeah.
if the emu had like the Hitler mustache, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually,
No!
if you look at the
Yes,
picture,
sir.
if you look at the picture, there's one guy holding an emu and he has the Hitler staff.
Yeah, is that right?
yeah.
The emu, not the man.
I feel like Australia, to me, like it's its own island away from everything
I mean,
else.
it is.
So like we have
It
no
really
clue what
is.
really happens
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
They could just be making all that up, and everyone is in on it. There's all.
I
in
mean, to be
Australia.
fair, it really is just an island by itself.
Do you think they have like you know how like we have like plaques here of like where battles were fought? You know, do you think they have those in Australia where it's like this is where we killed? a
They
bunch of
lost.
emus?
Well, they lost the war.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the humans lost the
They,
war.
the
I didn't
humans.
catch that.
I didn't say that yet. The humans lost the war because they pulled out of the war. They said, "Hey, we're done," because they were they were wasting too many bullets on the emus because the emus were running so fast that they couldn't shoot them. they had machine guns to shoot the emus,
Oh my
and
God.
they still were wasting
The emus
bullets.
had bullet time.
Yeah.
There
incredible.
is.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't.
But it was like even more because I was
I'll
like,
look up
machine
how
guns
many.
to
I'll
it.
look up
Yeah.
how many emus died.
Yeah. That's what's really important because that's what I care about more than
Yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
glad the emus won.
Me
You know,
too.
they put up a
They
valiant
really
battle.
did. Do you know when I went to Europe, my sister, I was like, I'm going. to Europe soon.
986 emus died
Oh my goodness.
out of the 20,000 emus
That's a lot
that
of emus.
drove that drove the farmers.
Oh my word.
Interesting.
The farms.
That's very
to drop.
disappointing that we
Yeah.
weren't able to take down all the humans. We did in World War II, so I mean.
Yeah.
It was. it's
Anyway, I was
funny.
going to Europe, and my sister was like, "Are you gonna throw another shrimp on the Barbie?" And I was like,
Okay.
"That's the wrong,
Yeah.
wrong stereotype."
Yeah. Can I go next? I want to go next.
No, you don't get to go next.
No.
Luke goes next. I'm just
Dang
kidding.
it.
You.
Okay, well, it
I'm
doesn't
kidding.
matter.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Austin's probably more prepared than I am. I didn't write anything down for mine.
So I'm gonna start off with the War of Jenkins' Ear. I'm very
Oh, yeah,
excited for
I
this.
saw
one.
this, but I didn't read
So
what it was
what
about.
I'm
But I saw when I was
thinking,
looking.
what I'm thinking happened is they had a war over a guy named Jenkins because his ear got taken off.
Okay.
It's a very safe guess.
Uh-huh.
What about you? Luke?
I have to say that this Jenkins guy is probably important in some regard, right?
Yeah.
Like
So there's a guy named Jenkins.
yeah. He's probably some kind of like politician maybe or monarch. And
He was a painter.
and he couldn't hear very well or something.
Hunter's more correct.
Oh, okay.
The
Dang,
war.
I am over 2.
The War of Jenkins' Ear was fought by Britain and Spain between 1739 to 1748. The
We're wasting our
majority,
time with these wars, guys.
the majority of the fighting took place in New Granada in the Caribbean Sea, with major operations largely ended by 1742. The name derives from Robert Jenkins, a British sea captain whose ear was allegedly severed in April 1731
Allegedly?
by Spanish coast guards searching his ship for contraband.
Ah.
In 1738, opposition politicians in the British Parliament used the incident to incite support for a war against Spain. So they
how long-
used they used the coast guards chopping off their
Yeah.
sea captain's ear as a reason to go to war. Jenkins was instructed by the Spanish coast guards that chopped off his ear
Yeah.
to deliver his severed ear to the King of Britain, which is pretty messed up, honestly.
Yeah, that was wasn't there an artist who did that? Was
Van
that
Gogh.
Van
Van
Gogh,
Gogh,
yeah.
yeah.
He was emulating him.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
Or maybe
I
Van
think
Gogh was emulating him. I think Van Gogh was
Oh.
him.
Van
because
Gogh was after. Yeah.
Actually, I think
this is
maybe-
like the 1700s.
Inspiration.
I'm pretty sure Van Gogh died actually, like, I mean, not recently, but like in the past like 100 years.
I always feel like he's older than he actually is.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sounds like he's much older, but he's like he existed in like I think it was the past 100 years he existed.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighting
Blah.
fighting formally ended with the 1748 Treaty of whatever that means, the terms of which meant Britain largely failed to achieve its original territorial and
Oh, never
economic
mind.
ambitions in the Americas. The war is significant in British
Oh.
naval history for Admiral George Onson's voyage around the world from 1740 to 1744.
That is remarkable
Okay.
that like because we have like World War 1 and World War 2 and then we have like the Civil War,
Yeah.
but that is so important to them, but like, we know nothing about
Okay, I
it.
was
Yeah.
wrong. It's a little bit less or a little bit over 100 years. He died in 1890.
Okay, well, that's still like sooner than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Oh, that's not why I thought he died.
Jenkins sounds like a really like a cool dude. You know.
Yeah, he does sound pretty cool. He got his ear chopped off, and I mean, he's
Started
not
an
really
entire war against the Spanish for no reason.
He's not really very important, I don't think, past that. Like he's not
Yeah, I
really
know.
mentioned in anything after that. So he kind of just
Yo-
he shed his blood and then he was done.
What do you
Yeah,
mean? He's the most important part of the war. He started
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, what it is because he was like, guys, I actually don't care. Like, it's fine. They're like, no, they cut off your ear. I want your revenge. He was like, guys, it's fine. Like,
It was actually
Stop.
them. They did it. They cut my ear off.
no reason to go to war.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Spain who cut off my ear. It was them.
It is also, like, as mentioned in the article I was reading,
He gets shot and it's like, oh
it,
no.
it's not proven that his ear was cut off. It
Yeah,
was
it's allegedly. So
because this was so long ago. This was the 1700s, so
Yeah.
it was all word of mouth.
they might as
So-
well say that it was because then there would be no point in having a war anyway. So they might as well just be like, yeah, it definitely happened
Yeah,
It
because
sure.
definitely happened.
we didn't just waste all that
I mean, I'm
time.
sure there were witnesses, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I'm more guessing that it did actually happen. but-
Okay, ready for mine?
Yep.
This one is called the 335 Years War.
Okay.
Oh, let me guess. It lasted that long. I'm kidding.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say-
335 years.
Yes. What do you think happened?
I think it lasted 335 years.
That would have to have been a very early war. Though.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. There's
Um,
no way that would have lasted that
335.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna say it was called the 335 years because whatever treaty they came up with kept peace. It was signed to keep peace for 335
Yeah,
years.
that's what I'm
That's my
thinking.
guess.
That's
No.
what I was thinking after.
No.
The war went on for 335 years.
Wow.
I
so
was right before.
the
I
very
should have went with
boring,
what I said
simple
before.
It was
option. Got it.
between the Isles of Sicily and the Netherlands,
Okay.
How do you go
Two
to
places
war?
I didn't even know existed.
How do you go to
honest.
war for 335?
and not a single shot was fired, and there were no casualties in the war.
Wow.
This article doesn't
So
say.
what, were they just arguing? Like, no, you're stupid.
Yeah.
No, you're stupid.
This
No,
article,
you're stupid.
This article doesn't even say, and I've read it. It's not very long.
Well, what a dumb war.
and it doesn't say like why they're at war. So I guess that's all up to our interpretation.
Yeah.
when did this
um,
war start?
It started in March of 1651.
Mm.
So
So that went into like possibly
You know my-
the
you
1900s.
want to know my
Yeah.
theory? My theory is that the people who were fighting all died of old age, and then like everyone just forgot about it. And so then they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there's still a war happening. Oh,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
it's over." That's my theory.
Or
Yeah.
that the war just never happened at all. That's so weird to think about. That war started in the 1600s and it went on into at least
Yeah.
the
something that's-
1900s.
Something that's interesting that I found after researching these is like the term war is very
Yeah.
loosely used because there even my next one that I'm going to talk about eventually is I don't know if it really constitutes a war.
Yeah.
But it was there, so
Oh yeah.
But war is just a very fun war. Maybe they were playing War the card game. For
Oh, yeah,
335
maybe.
Years.
yeah, probably.
Also, I use the term 1900s and 1600s very loosely. I don't mean exactly like 00.
Oh, yeah.
Or like I was just meaning in like the time.
I think everyone
span.
assumed that, but yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I've heard people get mad at me for that before. They're like, "Well, when you say this, I'm like, I'm just saying the 1900s because that's the time period."
when was
happened
Shakespeare?
in the
When was Shakespeare
1900s.
around? I just started taking a Shakespeare class, by the way.
That was like
What?
was that 1800s or was that
think so.
before?
No, I think it was way before.
Okay.
I think it was like four.
I
No,
mean, how else could he have
14.
known about the Great?
not
Emu?
14. I don't think Shakespeare. Knew.
He might have.
I'm gonna say either.
I feel so bad for all those people who died before the Great Emo War happened.
I
and
know,
They never got to know
man.
about its glory.
Yeah,
Well,
15,
I technically died
1564.
after it happened.
Well, I mean, yeah, but still, like we know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, true.
1564 to 1616.
William Shakespeare, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess he did.
So he was close to being born or dying around the time that
the 300
the 335
Yeah.
year war started.
That's funny.
Interesting. Okay.
What a boring war.
Yeah.
What a
Where
really
no shots were fired.
Pretty boring.
Can you?
I
How do they
really- I-
document that no shots were fired? Like, how are they like?
Oh,
How do they
no.
keep track of that?
One guy actually
There
shot
wasn't
his
one
gun.
guy who was like.
Yeah. yeah.
So my next war, it technically has two versions, but I went with the first version because I just felt like it, and
2.0.
I don't
Interesting.
mean this to go against anyone's like views on like whichever country you're from.
Careful.
I just chose this one because it's the name of the war that I chose.
Gotcha. Okay.
War of the Stray Dog.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say the War of the Stray Dog.
Two little old ladies were debating on whether or not which one of them had the stray dog.
No,
Okay.
it was a war between two countries.
Austin. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
So
This
I'm
is
gonna,
actually very funny that these are the two countries. It was.
I'm gonna say it was two countries, but they were not overseas. So the Stray Dog went from one territory, walked into the next, and the other territory claimed the Stray Dog as theirs, but the other people said, no, they were born in
thought.
our territory and went to your territory. That doesn't mean it's yours.
That is a good thought.
And then, you know.
That sounds like a plot to some kind of sitcom episode, though.
Yeah.
It's somewhat close. This
Oh.
is it's the Greek and it was between the Greek and Bulgarians.
Okay.
Well, Greece is an island, so. Wait, is it? No.
Well, where's Bulgaria?
It's not an island. Why did
I don't know.
That?
It says Greece and Bulgaria.
I was wrong. Greece is not
That's-
an island. So your theory still stands. Let's see.
Okay.
So This is the reason why. Remember, I think this is from the Greeks' side.
Okay.
And I chose the Greek side because that's the name of the war that was named. So if anyone gets mad at me from Bulgaria and they're like, "Oh, we learned it differently," don't get mad at me. I'm just going with the name of the war that I chose.
It's okay, Hunter.
I'm just not
I know
trying
you're
to.
paranoid, but I
I'm
promise
just not
you,
trying to get people mad at me.
you're not going to spark the war of the 3 media junkies because of
What if I do?
this random child.
Anyways, the reason why this war started was because it's close to what he said. A Greek soldier reportedly pursued a stray dog that crossed the border into Bulgaria.
Okay.
And it was claimed that he was attacked by one of the Bulgarians.
For entering into the territory.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was he trying to do? Was he trying to bring the dog back?
He was just trying to bring the dog back.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
And you know how long the war lasted?
How long?
10 days.
Oh, yeah,
because they
Was it one dude against the Bulgarians?
No,
Yeah.
I think it was I don't know. I don't even really know what happened because the small part it was just telling you what happened. Because
it really does like an episode, like a sitcom.
It was
like
literally
a cartoon.
it was a 10-day war, that lasted. Obviously 10 days, but it ended. I don't know why I said lasted. It ended because they signed a treaty. So yeah, it's really weird. Yeah. But if you want to hear the Bulgarian side, the Bulgarians say that I think it was a couple of soldiers, or it was just one soldier. Actually, Anyways, they apparently attacked the Bulgarians, that were at the border.
Who did?
The Greeks.
Oh.
That's what that's the Bulgarian side of the story. So
okay.
So they don't even mention a stray dog.
Yeah, I don't. At least I don't think that. I didn't read all the way.
Yeah.
I just saw that part, and
That's funny.
But those are the both sides.
I really do like the idea of just the silly thing about a stray dog.
Yeah.
But it's so sad. Like, why? I feel bad for that guy. He didn't deserve to have a war go because he was trying to help a dog.
Or
about that guy.
Yeah, really, I think so too.
Or it didn't happen at all.
Or they're making this up. That is true. But why would they? Who would have what would be the benefit of making up such a sad story?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know.
Make people cry.
Yeah.
Some people like to do.
Some people are heartless people.
We weren't alive. We weren't even thoughts in someone's head when this war happened. It was in 1925, so we weren't even.
Very true.
That means it wasn't my dog.
Yeah. Would you
run
into Bulgaria to save your dog?
Yes,
I would run anywhere to save my animal.
Yeah, you step in Bulgaria and then you
would you run?
And then you look up and everyone runs to your head. It's like the scene in Tangled when they got the swords to his face.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's Austin's turn, obviously.
Yep. So my next war is called the Pig War.
Pig War.
Why do we think it's called the Pig War?
The Bay of Pigs.
It's not. It's not that.
Probably something with Emu.
I'll give you a hint. Before you start.
Okay.
This is another war that had no casualties except for one. There's one
A
casualty.
pig, probably.
A pig.
There's
Do
one
pigs
casualty.
count as casualties?
There was a prized pig that won the big pig contest.
Okay.
And then one of the people from another place ate the pig.
Oh my gosh!
They thought they were very hungry. And so when they killed the pig, that was the only casualty.
Uh-huh.
And they ate the pig. And they got very hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kidding. They were completely full. And then the people who had the very good pig were like, no. They pulled a Von Karma and went, and said, "You're gonna pay for that pig." And he said no. And then they went to war for 5 days.
It's a very in-depth answer.
Is the very good pig a character?
I guess you can call him that.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call him from now on. The very good pig.
So, what is your guess, Luke?
Probably similar to Hunter's.
Okay.
The accuracy, honestly, really surprises me.
Okay. Well, then Hunter's more correct. The Pig War took place on San Juan Island, located between Vancouver Island, British Territory, and Washington Territory, the U.S.
Canada.
The war took place on June 15, 1859, and ended by July 1874. The pig war started because an American settler, Lyman Cutler, shot and killed a pig that belonged to a British farmer
I was
pig.
right.
on San Juan Island,
No.
which was a disputed territory between the United States and Great Britain,
More of this nonsense.
causing tensions over the border to escalate into a military standoff between the two nations. Essentially, the shooting of the pig acted as the catalyst for a pre-existing border dispute over the San Juan Islands. So the real issue was the ambiguity in the border between the U.S. and Britain, specifically regarding which channel, Rosario Strait or Harrow Strait, should be used to define the boundary.
Why can't we just share the Earth? Why do we have to
I know,
have borders?
it's weird. Although both sides mobilized troops, the war remained bloodless, except for the very good pig, and was eventually resolved through diplomatic negotiations.
Well,
So
I mean,
he died for our sins.
He really did.
Um,
I
I wouldn't say all that.
I didn't process what you said entirely.
Yeah.
As the one Christian in this room.
Yeah, the very good pig. He was
Yeah.
very good.
He was very good. That's
He
probably
didn't
why
do
he
anything wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He
Was
won
he
that
a prize?
contest fair and square. Like, I don't
Yeah.
He
understand.
did. So, yeah, I mean, it was, again, I don't know if that
Very
really
similar to the-
constitutes a war, but
I mean, I would go to war.
it's more of a conflict.
also
it didn't
talking-
get to the point where...
yeah.
Well, also, what was the
Matter of real-
335-day war then?
Yeah.
This is like little Sebastian from Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah.
You know, everyone loved him, and then he died, and that's why everyone got so upset. But instead of responding with mournfulness, they responded with anger.
Death.
Yeah.
That's So
Oh yeah, they tried to. What was, I can't remember what it was. They were trying to like see who loved little Sebastian.
then
more
they
or
were
something.
doing the song. Your 5,000
I mean, yeah.
candles in the wind.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But
you should watch that show.
you said it was
like
like
it.
a-
I
it
heard
was
it's
like-
If you
good.
liked the Parks and Rec, I think is better than The Office.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
was
it's,
thinking-
it's at least funnier.
I was
Understood.
trying to think of an argument, but no,
No, yeah.
there's not really an argument.
Yeah, The Office is definitely more like
I
iconic.
love The Office.
Like it's more classic and but Parks and Rec I think is just
But I
funnier,
feel
more well
like-
written.
Parks and Rec now, as I feel like I don't think I can watch it again because I feel like I know all like the things that might happen. Because like The Office didn't really have much plot twists, so it's like okay, I can just watch.
Yeah,
this.
Parks and Rec had some.
Parks and Rec
yeah.
had a lot of random plot twists.
I agree.
That were really weird, and it's like now that I know all of them, it's like
That's
it's
what it
gonna
is for me
be.
with Ace Attorney.
It's kind of hard to It's kind of hard to read. Would we? Okay, I'm done speaking.
Yeah.
Your turn.
All right, the final one. The pastry war, which is perfect for this.
Oh, I was gonna pick that one.
Yeah,
I was
Jinx,
looking
you owe me a Coke.
I was looking at that one.
yeah.
You owe
So,
me a drink now.
all right, what do you
Okay.
guys think the pastry war was
Water
about?
now.
Absolutely
The
not.
water's free.
You have to get a whatever that is, Luke.
I don't know, ice caramel macchiato maybe.
That's not a macchiato.
Okay, well.
Anyways, the pastry
Duh.
war is so essentially. I'm guessing what it is, Luke.
Oh, I thought you were just explaining
No,
it. I was
no.
like, oh.
The pastry war was a battle between two bakers trying to make the best pastries, and it was a constant, cat and mouse, like one-upping each other to the point where they started sabotaging each other's pastries. You know how sometimes pastries have like peanut butter or chocolate in them. He would replace it with like poop and stuff like that.
Poop and-
they
Poop and not poop.
threatening to shut down, all kinds of stuff. So it was a battle between two
Yeah,
bakers.
yeah.
Whose poop was it?
that doesn't matter.
That's like a very important detail.
I like that.
It's my turn.
I know that's honestly much more interesting than this. Is actually kind of a boring one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I didn't choose it.
yeah.
I think it was something to do with like there was like I think it was like two countries' bakers or whatever that were like they were trying to figure out whose pastries were bad.
I was like, okay, this is the
Yeah.
boring answer.
Yeah.
You caught me by surprise.
And then what happened was they had ninjas.
Whoa.
They had spies.
Because we got to get some
bringing
action in there.
To bring in the poop.
Yeah.
To bring in the poop. To, put
yeah,
in
that-
to replace the chocolate
I
with.
hate
Yeah.
Austin's idea.
I'm kidding. They had
Oh.
spies.
I'm
Oh,
kidding.
not
I'm kidding.
ninjas.
I'm not kidding about the
They
spies.
had ninjas and slash spies. I mean, spies are technically ninjas, and ninjas are technically
Except they don't
spies.
use like shuriken or something.
Yeah.
Ninjas don't have to use
Yeah, I
shuriken.
mean, they can use katanas.
In other deadly weapons, like
Yeah.
gun.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
But
on
yeah,
top of my list,
I
I
think that they had. I think both of them had had ninjas that would sneak into the pastries and
Into the pastry.
Into the
sneak into the
pastry.
pastries.
Yum.
And then, like, you remember, like when we had that whole FDA stuff,
We
like
still
when we.
do.
I
There's
mean,
people
like,
inside your food.
that's
You
what I'm
can't be
talking
selling
about.
this.
That's what I'm talking about. Is the
Yeah.
people in the food? That's what it is.
Ah.
There was dead people inside of like the meat.
They die?
and like in the meats and
A
stuff.
sacrifice.
Yeah, a worthy sacrifice.
Before the
Yeah,
FDA existed, there were people that fall into the food and stuff, and they would like.
Before the FDA existed, that was what stopped it from happening.
Yeah.
Well, because they had more food
I know.
regulations.
They
and
just
stuff
put
like that.
barriers over the
Yeah.
pies so
Well,
they could fall into
Yeah,
it.
because before the FDA, they didn't really have much safety regulations.
Oh
of-
man, I really wanted to
the
eat
stuff.
my
That's
food
That's
that
called
was
the
had a
Food
dead person
Diversion
on it.
Association. They divert you from falling into the food.
so that their food never be able to be personalized.
Got be able to be.
People couldn't eat the food
Okay,
because
look, I think
there's
it's time to
people and the
explain
people.
what the war was.
It's guys. That was the best part, honestly.
Yeah.
It was a brief and minor conflict between Mexico and France.
Okay.
So there's like a French pastry cook, and
Wow.
like some of
It is
some
about
of
pastries.
Let's bring
Right.
this up too.
And, like, I
France
think it
and
was-
Mexico.
I think
Yeah.
They're very
I
different
know.
sides.
That's what I was thinking too.
of the
but, like,
world.
like Mexico was like tearing down buildings for some reason. I can't remember why. And like one of them was a pastry shop, and there was dispute over like who owned it or something like that. And then
Like,
and then after like a few months, I think they just decided to pay them for destroying the pastry shop. And
if it's like, how do they do that in France though?
I don't know.
Mexico's like in Cave. Mexico's like over there, and France is like over there.
Yeah.
It's like in the middle of other countries
They
too.
just
So it's
walk
like
right over there.
yeah.
So it's like-
yeah. If Cave was to scale,
it's also
Yeah.
it's like right by Germany and between another country too,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
Shit,
it's like
maybe.
how does that happen?
No, Edge was. I don't know.
That was Edgeworth.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
interesting.
in the
Those were some
Francisco
weird wars. I'll give you
That's-
credit.
Yeah, I
Some
like
pretty
that. That was
weird
very
wars.
entertaining.
Yeah,
I feel like it went very fast, but it was like
Yeah.
it was
just rapid
good.
fire, like pew pew pew.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
I'm so excited for us all to go home and for Hunter to text me about the end of that case.
Oh yeah. I'm going home.
Are you finishing
I'm-
it tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finishing
And
it tonight.
Is that the last case of the game?
Well,
Yes.
it's besides the DLC.
Well,
Besides
yeah,
the
besides.
DLC,
but it's the one with Bank
But they don't-
and
but they don't
Gregor,
play
the
that
DL6 incident.
Mm.
But yeah. So I think we're all done here.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, I think we're all
So,
done here.
I think we're all word out.
We're
That was
word-
pretty funny. That was some of the hardest I've laughed since like a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was
I
pretty
mean
good.
on the podcast.
I cannot wait to do another Phoenix, right?
Hang out? Yeah, I know. It's happening, dude. Mark my words.
Hey,
Mark?
hey. So I mentioned how I'm going back to school. One of my classes is story for picture. You know what that is?
Phoenix,
Script
right?
writing.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
But Phoenix Wright, because then I can,
Yeah.
you know,
Phoenix right.
if there's an assignment where I need to write a script, that could be one of the ones I already
You
do.
can-
You know?
Big
Yeah.
brain idea.
Okay.
You finish up your script for the case, right?
Mhm.
You turn it in, see what grade you get, see what he says that you need to fix, and you can fix that stuff.
Fair
but
enough. yeah.
what if they've never seen Ace Attorney?
No, it doesn't matter if they haven't seen
guess so.
Ace Attorney. They just have to like.
It's a
look
courtroom
through it.
drama that I
Yeah.
created.
I created Ace Attorney.
Y'all go
Yeah.
objection.
Yeah.
I wrote a plot for an Ace Attorney game where like at the end of the game the twist is that you find out that the character you've been playing as has like dissociative identity disorder and that their other identity like was responsible for all the murders in the game.
If you think
And
about
I like wrote it's really good.
it
Yeah.
does kind of make sense because Mia died. Or was it Mia?
Mia died.
Mia died.
Come
yeah.
on, dude.
Well, Mia, like Mamma
Maya
Mia.
Mia, here we go again.
Okay. I think
Okay.
we should end it off.
So yeah, go play Ace Attorney if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Peace out, media junkies.